One of you two say something.
Test 1, 2, 3.
Oh, you were actually polite and said something useful. Thank you. Last time it's some mixed results of something stupid.
I had to, when I was setting up everything for talent show, my MCs are, of course, the type of kids that audition to be MCs who, like, never shut the fuck up. And so they were talking into the microphones constantly, and it was horrible because we would like have the soundboard turned on and they'd immediately be talking into the microphones just like chatting because they're just so like they needed to be the loudest ones in the room. But then the moment I'm like up in the booth screaming at them to test a microphone and be like talking to that microphone right now so that we can test it, they'd be like, huh, what, like directly outside of range of the microphone.
Bitches.
I return.
Unprofessional.
I heard the word
Welcome
bitches.
back.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
I said I put the headset on at the right
Garth
time.
was cursing about my children.
Oh, okay. Good to know, I guess.
Oh, dang it. I was
Yeah.
going to play video games while you talked. Oh, well.
Now you're stuck on video editor duty. Nerd. But in all seriousness, let's get this going. So, yeah, so 3 days has passed in Sevlis. I mean, I guess the group's only been out of town for 2 days. Well, you guys left in the middle of a day. And so I guess 2.5 days. I don't know. You'll be gone for 2 nights. Put it like that. You guys will be getting back towards like the middle of the 3rd day. Yeah. So a lot of shit has gone down in Sevlis in that amount of time, Sima. Such as the place isn't under martial law. No jokes. No jokes on martial, haha. Because I'm gonna make them first. Yeah. So yeah, the place. Town. So yeah, surprise, surprise. I am the law. No, that's me. My middle name's Law. Literally. Easy clap. So yeah, basically there's a lot of back and forth that end up happening for us, but it boils down to this. The Seekers aren't in charge anymore. I mean, I guess they technically weren't ever in charge, like a joint in charge. But now they're definitely not in charge. Now the Slayers are. And so the Slayer method of public order is pretty straightforward. There's a curfew. Don't do shit. If you see shit, report it. And anyone that protests is either kicked out or put to the torch. You know, the classic stuff. Put to the blade, I guess. So yeah, that's going on in Sevlis. It's not looking good.
Sounds kind of shitty.
Sounds pretty shitty, yeah. It sort of... Yeah. In terms of people you have access to during this time, like NPC-wise, you don't have access to Duncan. You have some lesser access to Ariana. You have access to Pavel. You don't have access to Connor. He's sort of fluffed off. I mean, I guess you technically have access to Cedric and Valeska, but I don't know. And you have access to Anella, mostly.
Okay.
Yeah. So, keeping that in mind, that walking around, you're okay to walk around. It's not like you've committed any crime or anything, and it's not like they're looking for you like like last town, haha. But yeah, it's just immensely tense right now, and to put it, well, I guess Duncan and everyone would have sort of talked about this while you were around or something. They told you to pick a side, Slayers and Seekers. They need at least one side to still be around, because if both Seekers and Slayers like lose public faith and hope and support, it'll turn into like chaos. They need at least one of these groups to be like somewhat popular. So if it means that the Slayers are like complete assholes and putting random people into the blade, then it takes what it takes. It's either that or mob justice, which you don't want mob justice in the twins because that means everyone suffers. Versus the Slayers, which have some level of organization. So yeah, you guys sort of need to do something for like keeping one side in power, so to speak. But that's for the group, not necessarily for you. I think you have your own goals. So let's talk about those goals. It's only been a couple of days, but a couple of days showing definitely a lot of time. I speak from experience. So what were you trying to do in those couple of days?
I mean, I think that with a lot of my downtime, I was training with Anella. Right. I think that's one of my big thing I was doing.
The ways of magic.
Yeah. So I was sneakily, so I didn't get arrested and exiled again, or put to death, or have my pilot.
You have the safe house to chill in. So
yeah.
It's not like you're in the town square reading a book on film gods or something.
Yeah. So yeah, and speaking of reading books, I don't remember if we established that I finished the book that
the
Marshall
book
had given me, but that's also one of the things that I was doing.
We said, funnily enough, I was watching the session the other day. We said that over the course of you guys traveling down, you would have finished reading it.
That's what I thought.
But it just meant that like your time learning Arcana was just hindered because you're reading this book.
And so yeah, I was definitely making up for that time by trying to work with Anella as much as possible.
Anella, like, because you had some lessons with her on your way down.
Yeah.
We talked about those. She's a lot less around. Like I did just say like she's mostly around, but there are like times where she just sort of disappears.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether or not you want to actually ask her about it, up to you, but like she's around in bits and pieces. Obviously not enough to super stunt your learning or anything. But to be fair, her method of learning so far hasn't exactly been the most, how to say, engaging. She, it's sort of like a very old school style of teaching. She'll give you something to read and then you'll discuss it. But obviously, you have to read the shit.
The good way.
Yeah, so like obviously you need to read the thing and then be able to discuss it. So like she has a lot of time to just sort of piss off away while you do your reading and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I would say that when I'm not doing that, the other thing is that given the very weird political situation that is happening, and considering the fact that we are in an area that I probably would not be able to find any extra books on, Fel Gods or Arcana, because that's pretty frowned upon around here, I would be going around trying to see if I could find any books on things like politics or the history of the Seekers and Slayers to figure out if like a situation like what is happening right now is precedented.
Oh, okay, that's an interesting avenue.
So that I can be informed.
You might have to hop on Roll20 so we can just start doing some rolls for this stuff.
Yeah, I was already on there, so my tablet just fell asleep. Let me wake it back up. Wake up, sleepyhead.
Tase it. Wakes people up real quick if you tase them. I would say that because there are no temples here in Sevilla, so we've established that it's part of its history. Why it doesn't have holy shit. But essentially, if you wanted to like find information on Fel Gods, the Seekers would be your best bets because that's sort of like their repertoire. So it's up to you if you want to actually pursue that.
I think I want to get a feel for what they're like, what's going on here first, and then I want kind of everybody to be around whenever, because then when everybody's around, we can go together and talk to the Seekers and be like, hey, we went to a bunch of outposts and there was a lot of fucked up shit there.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
that sounds like an everybody kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Sima is certainly not the face that would be going around to.
I don't know what you're talking about. You've done so well so far.
You know, she has a 12 charisma, so like.
Yeah, in technicality, you're above average charisma. There you go. You're fine.
She's not horrible. Okay, so I have my stuff pulled up. What do I need to?
So, okay, we'll point it out like this. So, as we said, we have like 3 days, half of the first day, and then the group will be coming back in the like that noon part of the third day. So we basically, in essence, have like 2 days. You know, half and one. So we'll just play out bit by bit in chronological order. And then, because obviously the things you uncover first might affect things you did later.
Yeah.
So, which item of activity would you like to start with?
I think that we'll start with Sima's gonna first go and like go to bookstores or libraries or whatever and see if she can find materials on like the history of Seekers and Slayers.
Okay. Well then, roll me. It would be your choice between investigation and history. Obviously, this is a historical thing you're trying to get, but different things will like different stats of different roles. I mean, will give you different answers.
Yeah. Well, one I have significantly better stuff in, and also I think is more what I'm going for. Also, I think history is definitely more what seems to be going for.
Very well. Like if you favorite to roll history by all means, but it will just tell you different avenues of information.
Yeah.
So yeah, roll me a history.
Give me a second.
La histoire.
Historia.
En français, histoire.
I'm using my new computer, and it's
annoying. Okay, now
it's a little tablet. If it will ever, come on.
That's dead.
It just doesn't. I haven't figured. It's like a tablet thing.
You have to refresh because if Roll20's editor like thingy closed, I think it hiccups, so you might have to like reload. In fact, if you just open like the tablet back up and just
here we are. Guess what? It was because I had it open in a window, and so it just all went behind the window, and so now I have a bunch of things to cancel.
It feels bad,
but also feels bad. Yeah, not that good.
Tell you what, I'll give you 3 questions to ask.
Okay.
About Seekers, Slayers, the relationship in between one versus the other, stuff like that. I will tell you in advance that because this is a 9, this is definitely not the ultimate extent of any of these answers.
Yeah.
Yeah. History checks are like golf. Yeah, where lower is better, right? No, that's what luck checks are like.
It means I have more to learn.
Exactly.
It's always good.
That's a teacher answer I've ever heard. That just means you have more to learn. Yeah, ask 3 questions and then I'll just sort of decide like how much a 9 would information would give you. Like,
okay.
You end up finding out like there's not in terms of like actual books like textbooks like published journals and things like that, there's not a lot. Like most of the information about Seekers and Slayers, Seekers in particularly, it's not particularly publicized information.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like obviously you're not from the twins yourself. I guess you did grow up in relative proximity from the Kevins, but it's just a different beast entirely. Being from the twins and having such sort of intimacy to constantly interacting with Seekers and Slayers in your just day-to-day life, and that's along the lines of books and information you find about not necessarily some of them are written from a Seeker or Slayer perspective in like a more official capacity. But a good number of other stuff is just sort of general information about the twins, and just due to the Seekers and Slayers being a twins faction, it occupies like their own chapter in these like books. So it's some of it is like an actual like public not public information, but like a official information thing, and others are just anecdotal stuff that people just
Yeah.
on consensus confirm about Seekers and Slayers. So you have 3 questions. You don't have to ask them to me right now or even today. You can ask them to me tomorrow,
Oh,
before
sweet.
session or after or not after session, before session or during session.
Yeah.
So yeah, just have it in your pocket. Feel free to consult your party mates who are here in a spectral capacity. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there are
Because I have
there are also things you would know automatically just being a provincial.
Yeah.
So if you ask one of those like something along that logic, I'll just okay, you know this, this, and this. Does that answer your question? Like yes, no. If it's no, then I'll go deeper, and then that answers your question. If yes, I'll be like, okay, well, refund the question.
Yeah, because my initial question is one that I think might kind of be in this line is like, have the Seekers and Slayers always worked in balance, or?
Oh, okay, yeah, that's something I can tell you for free.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Well, okay, well, let me fully ask first. Like, when you say balance, you mean like balance, like neither side is more powerful than the other.
Or at least have they always worked together? Because then my second part of that is then like, have there been times like this in the past where one has gained more power than the other?
Okay, this is all free. This is all free information.
Yeah, okay.
The Seekers and Slayers were founded at the same time. Like they were a joint factional creation. As I don't want to particular about it. You've read like the thousands of messages we put in like the weeks. But essentially, the Seekers and Slayers have this joint faction relationship. It is how to put this? We compared Seekers and Slayers to like something of paramilitary organizations. And while the military thing in normal reality would have something along the lines of Slayers, like 3-to-1 fighting tactics, like organizational structures, stuff like that, tactics and strategies. That stuff only applies so far in the real set or reality into this game. Because obviously, not all the things we face in this game are based in reality. You can't 3-to-1 a fucking dragon. I mean, I guess you can eventually, but so essentially, that's the sort of relationship between Seekers and Slayers. The Seekers' jobs are to gather information about what's going on, so that when the Slayers get deployed, they aren't walking into a clusterfuck and get trapped. Like deploying an entire platoon of Slayers against 3 hags when they don't know there's 3 hags is like grounds for a tragedy, versus Slayer platoon that knows what they're going against, where to trap these bastards, stuff like that. That's an entirely different beast, and that's the job of the Seekers. We were saying this earlier. In an ironic sense, the Seeker you guys found way back with the Vowed Bane, was a really shit Seeker. Like he was terrible. Because Seekers don't operate alone, which he was. He doesn't run after the target if he knows he's going to an unknown turf. And he didn't report back at all. Like, even if he'd go chase it, you should report back. To like, okay, this is information. Gotta go. Da-da-da. The Seeker you guys found didn't do any of that. So, again, they're an incredibly incompetent Seeker. Seeker's standard job is they have a team, at least 2, or at least 3. Normally a squad. Because obviously if one person dies, a second person dies, we still need the information to get back. So the more the merrier. But it's still small enough that they're covert. So yeah, it's like that. So the Seekers and Slayers were founded jointly. One being the information and support team, and the other one being the upfront vanguards. For better and worse. In terms of strife and struggle, like power-wise, this is not the first time this has happened in terms of one side gaining more favor or support or power than the other. But that being said, like, how to put this? It's never been to this, like, to this extreme a degree, I guess. Like, that's not necessarily, but it's never been this sudden.
Okay.
Like the loss of public support usually comes about like word of multiple failed series of events, as opposed to, hey, remember that thing you're supposed to be looking out for? Yeah, he just walked right under your noses. shrug. Yeah, like it's never been this sudden.
Mm-hmm.
Now, keep in mind, you guys do have a bit of a pocket situation here, because this is all contained in Sevlis. Information has sort of been trapped in the city, for better and worse.
So this is the only city that's like in the hills.
For the time being.
Yeah.
For the time being, yes. Which is again like another reason why the Slayers are sort of keeping things not quarantined, but kept under wraps. Is that imagine if the rest of the twins finds out about this? It's not good. So you guys have a bit of a pocket situation here, as you have been able to surmise as Sima. So rivalry between the Seekers and Slayers goes back to its very creation. Like that's just how it is. Like it's always been like a rivalry between the two factions. Now it's never really achieved or come to a head to the point where it's been like nearly like sabotage level of like we're actually willing to sell out our brother faction in order to look better. That being said, like there is just the natural competition aspect of it that does make things a bit less efficient as a result, and sometimes a bit more efficient. It goes both ways. So yeah, that's something you as Sima would know, and that's something you two as well would also know, Marshall and Chedamere.
Mm-hmm.
You guys would just know this, that the Seekers and Slayers have this relationship. They're competitive, rivalry. Okay, this isn't like intelligence learning. This is just word of the province.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why Chedamere can know it, just by being from middle of frozen wasteland.
A frozen hellscape.
Yep.
To be fair, she does like intentionally seek after that. Seek after that kind of information of other hunter groups. So there you go.
I remember what Duff said for Nevi. Congratulations.
Aww.
Let's see how Nevi's doing these days.
I mean,
she's
emotionally.
Oh, Nevi's doing a fucking okay.
She is the unkillable.
Oh, yeah, I finally finished Nevi's sheet a couple days ago.
Yay!
She's got all the stuff. She's level 7. She's got 63 hit points. AC of 15, though, so your girl better not. She also has the mobile feat, so now she can run farther.
Book it.
I mean, I don't know how to tell to like put a name on stuff. I don't care.
I mean, he's not wrong. Because I've literally, in the campaign that she was part of that I was DMing, that literally happened. But anyways.
What, like, you wrote a death save on someone's, like...
Yeah, well, it was more like she wasn't keeping track of her health, because no one in my fucking campaign wanted to keep track of their health for some reason. So I was doing it for them, and she just freaked out on me.
I mean, I just start... If you guys did that to me, which I don't think you guys ever would, but if you guys did, I would just start killing you left and right.
Deal with it. Anyways.
If you are not willing to take upon the responsibility of thy health... So, yeah, so that's something Sima knows, naturally. Again, you start with those 3 questions, just ding, banked away, ready to be asked now, tomorrow, before, during session, stuff like that.
Alright. I'll try to do them before. I'm gonna...
It's up to you. Like, again, you're free to consult the group. Maybe when we're shooting the shits, you'll be like, oh, hey, da-da-da-da, I got da-da-da-da. Until they to work out the rest of the hypothetical. So you spend, let's say, a few hours on the first day, the first half day, sort of digging around, looking through assorted pawn shops, bookshops, things like that. I wish there was a remind me for that, truly. I wish Volov was that advanced.
You could pin it.
Tell you what, I'll do you a solid. I'll put a pin. So yeah. So that's like a few hours of your first half day gone. What would you like to do next?
Then I'm gonna go to Anella and have her assign me my
mandatory reading.
my homework.
You're a responsible student.
I forgot. I'm sorry. I forgot exactly like what avenue, because I remember you wanted to like actually sort of focus on what bank of knowledge on magic you're trying to go for.
Mainly, I think a void, Fell Gods in the Void specifically.
Okay.
All I remember is that you asked for runes and you said, nah. You said it more eloquently than that, but still.
That's an artificer thing.
Yeah.
But roll me Arcana.
Oh yeah, I did ask for runes because I wanted to be able to read the stuff.
You also have your coin.
Oh, I have so much inspiration. So, which honestly, I could have used it on that history, but I'm content with just having 3 questions. I think that sounds
It's up to you if you want to. I honestly don't care. I don't feel one way or the other. It's your resource to use.
I'm content with 3 questions. Honestly, that's a lot of responsibility for me as it is.
Okay. Okay, 14 Arcana.
I'm not mad about
that. See, the easy avenue for me would be like, all right, here's 3 more questions to ask about the void. Just have 6 questions loaded up for you tomorrow. But no,
just keep giving her questions.
Well, I actually do have to ask you, like, because you say just the void, but that's like immensely vague. So, like, is there anything?
Yeah.
Like, I would need you to narrow it down before I do.
I think I'm mainly gonna be wondering about how the void normally interacts with our plane of existence, and
that's a good answer. Or good question, I mean.
Yeah.
What else?
Yay. I think stuff's what else? So I'm wondering how it interacts with stuff. I'm really wondering about, like, I guess it's more like even in some ways a history question, but like the rituals related to, because it seemed like there was a lot of ritualistic stuff going on.
Yeah.
And so therefore, like, the history of, like, I don't know about necessarily, because it doesn't, I don't know if it's that, like, people
sort of
are
like
doing
the ritualistic, like, trappings of, like, how shit comes in between.
Yeah, how stuff is, like, allowed to come in, because it seems like there has to be a portal made, and so I want to know, like,
and how to stop it.
Yeah, how to stop it, how it's allowed in, how to see signs that the void has, how to recognize the signs that, like, stuff in the void has been present, and like that.
Okay. Well, then upon this matter, Anoa shall not be thine only teacher. She will have to call in help.
Ew.
She would have to call in Ariana, and loath as he might to be any part of anything related to the void, she'd have to call in Cedric.
Ew.
Boy, howdy.
Because Cedric is...
Is Ariana going to be disappointed in me that I'm hanging out with Anella in this way?
She hangs out with Anella more than you have.
Yeah, she's... Yeah, I've given Garth, like, the summary of their entire campaign and, like, all the shit. And I think Garth can agree, like, you guys think you failed? No, they failed, like, they failed as well. Like, don't worry about it. It's part of the job.
I don't want Mom to be disappointed in me.
That's fine. Anella is one of the few elder beings that Ariana actually is willing to trust. And there's a lot of reason and circumstance to that. But anyways, the long and short of it is, child, the long and short of it would be simply that, how to say, thy true gods above and around, the Myriad Mutrale, are a ever progressing, shrinking, and moving wall around the world in an ethereal capacity. How such demonic beings from the void, on the other hand, get in, other than luckily or by immense amount of power, brute forcing their way in, which I assure you has not happened in quite some time, was simply that a mortal such as yourself opens a door. Gods they might be, the Myriad technically doesn't control mortal hands that let things in.
So it has to be a mortal who's already in this realm to let them in to this realm.
Correct.
If a creature from the void has been let in, can that creature then in turn let something else in, or can you not piggyback in that way?
You can.
Okay.
They can. It just takes one to get in. After that, the door can be reopened and reused. Or more doors can be opened. And the Myriad is far too busy with its work to go around in the mortal realm looking for such doors. Such is the case of their emissaries and champions, then. The few that they have.
So with the doors that we closed,
Yes.
what's the likelihood that they're going to stay closed?
By thy faithful effort, child, it seems that they are fully closed and are part of a wall once more. As far as I can tell.
Okay.
That
Good to
again,
hear.
I am not a being of the void.
Yeah.
And she casts a look over at Ariana and Cedric, who offered their input earlier, but is not enough to the point I'm including them in this conversation. She looks at Ariana and Cedric with like a forlorn look on her face. And I assure you that those doors can be much more easily opened now than ever. And shall continue to do so. Silence is good. I like it. Digging it. So I like to not hear.
Did Terran crash?
I am writing notes.
What a smart cookie.
Here's the thing. I probably won't refer back to them, but writing it down helps me remember.
I mean,
Hey,
if
that's
it
Sam.
helps.
If I helped, I'm not judging. I typed my notes when I was a player.
I have these nice pilot pens, so I like to use them.
I use Sharpies, which is a terrible idea.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Oh, I love using a Sharpie pen.
Do you get
But
high
you
while
gotta-
playing?
Not intentionally.
Oh, you should.
Shadmir is just stoned for a session.
I mean, you already got a stone cold face. You might as well just like apply it to the rest of you.
I had to I think
Where's
I
my
had to yell. It's one of those things where like that, just like I had a recovered memory because you said that. Because I think I had to yell at one of my students the other day for like acting like they were sniffing and stuff. No, they were acting like they were sniffing whiteout, and I was like, "Stop it! You're too old to do that."
Too
My
old.
middle-
It's
Well, 'cause
never
my-
old
my-
enough to do drugs.
My middle schoolers would do it all the time because they were dumb and didn't realize that it would actually like make you lightheaded. Like they just kind of did it as like a joke because they like heard about it. But like my kids, like they are both smart and older, so like they should know
They're
better.
children. They're
Or they
smart
do it
doesn't
with
fit.
purpose and intent.
I mean, some of them are 18, so they're technically not children. But no, my kids wouldn't. My kids are smart enough to not huff in front of me on purpose.
In
At least
front
I
of
hope
you.
so.
On purpose.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Let's see. So the answer of how they get in. What happens with portals? Can you close them? On the matter of feeling for them, that's not exactly something that you. Well, how to put this? It is a notable feeling. You felt the feeling before, just a sort of
Yeah.
like corruption and like just the dreariness around a place. You felt it in House Bellinger. You felt it at the Outpost. But of course, there are also plenty of other things that can so exhibit the same sort of force upon you, the same feeling. But
Is there
yeah,
is there always a physical sign that a door has been present, or like at least if it was like recently opened?
mean
like
the
as in
portals?
like yeah, like how it like we seen all of the stuff that was set up for it. Because up until this point, it seems like it has always had physical evidence that it was there or is there.
In all fairness, child, those portals were set up rather hastily. So, if I had to assume, I would say that it, like any other magics, can be properly hidden given a skillful hand, time, and effort.
Good to know.
Ariana would mention that if you let's say fully went to the void as opposed to like this hub network void like pocket that you guys use as like an intermediary point, like if you full on went to the void and had the door closed and tried to come back, like the myriad just wouldn't let you.
Okay.
Like even if you were pure of heart and a chosen emissary, they don't take any chances. So like if you are fully within the void, like full door closed and everything, you're not coming back in without fighting a god. It'd take multiple gods, I guess, because Myriad's like multiple people, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So note to self, don't go fully into the void with the door closed.
Yeah.
Could you be summoned back by the same type of ritual?
You could.
Okay.
Put like a door
Probably
stop on the way
something
out or
would
something.
Sneak out with you, I would think.
Yeah, well, the logic is that if the door is still open, that you're still being monitored by something, by them, by other gods, by just other stuff. If the door fully closes, that connection, that monitoring connection, that back door of information is cut off for however long amount of time. It could be seconds, it could be years, whatever. And then every second counts, and you could be very easily just corrupted in that short amount of time. So as a result, they don't let you back in. Well, not how to fight. Or purgation, but or an exorcism, I guess would be the more correct term. But trust me when I say a myriad's version of an exorcism on the body is not conducive for the body surviving. So basically, don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's your lesson to Noah. Unless you have anything else. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I mean, kind of going along with the same thing. I guess it's more of a confirmation of what I'm thinking right now. So since, you know, the portal could be more skillful if you take more time, I'm assuming that it's one of those things where it could take as little as one person, but more people would be able to do it like better or more. And then with time wise, it could be, do we know like kind of how quickly someone could slap a portal together if they were being hasty?
It's Noah remarks that this would be something you should ask Connor about.
Okay.
He's the maestro who I know has an education on magic theorem. But essentially, there's a lot of factors that could go into it. If we're just talking about an average magic user, then the amount is immensely different than a powerful magic user, which is immensely different than an average magic user using literal sacrifices, the life force of other things to form this thing, which is immensely different from an already powerful magic person also doing the same thing. Do they have like some sort of base template that they could use to make this portal, or are they just sort of trying to literally force it into existence? Like, there's a lot of things that go into it. And she can't give you a definitive answer, so to speak. She can just tell you, like, this will beat this, which in turn might beat this, which in turn was relatively equal to this, stuff like that.
Yeah, because the reason why I asked that is because it would be, I think, useful to know whenever we come across a portal of, like, how long ago someone was probably there or how long they had to be there preparing. And so getting an
Right.
idea of that, I think, would be something useful for us.
It's just it's similar to like magic items and thing, other like long-term magic effects. It really like a lot of it is dependent on the magic person themselves.
Yeah.
And of course, like ascertain like what they brought along with them to like do this process is much easier than knowing the person and how magical they are. Like you can tell when something's been dragged across the floor to use this. Cough cough corpses. But like looking at a portal at a glance, like this person must have been immensely magic. Not necessarily, could have just had a good amount of time, or a lot of people, or really good materials, or something like that. There's a lot of shit that goes into this.
Yeah.
But like I would say, like from like this point on, like if you want to ask that, I could give you a series of possible explanations that are reasonable to you as Sima. You can't be like, an immensely magical person made this absolute dog shit portal that doesn't do anything. Like, no, that just doesn't. Unless they're trying to do so, in which case that's a mindfuck. But
they're trying to throw you off.
Yeah, exactly. And then just like, but excluding that, then yeah, I could start narrowing things down as a character.
Yeah.
E. That's day one. Day one. During this time, while you're around the special watch